The American Revolution was a crucial time in our country's history, when colonists were completely fed up with being under the control of Britain and continued to reject the outrageous taxes put upon them by British Parliament. They decided it was time to finally fight back. Taking time between 1775 through 1783, the 13 colonies fought the British monarchy and overthrew the authorities Great Britain had over them. Many battles were fought and lost by the Americans, but it is one of the last major encounters with the British that changed the fate of the American people.
The Battle of Yorktown was the last major engagement of the American Revolution and was fought between September 28th through October 19th, 1781. It was a conflict between the Allied Americans and French against the British. Joining forces, there were 8,800 American and 7,800 French soldiers led by General George Washington and Lieutenant General Jean-Baptiste Donatien de Vimier against the 7,500 British men led by Lieutenant General Lord Charles Cornwallis. Issues began arising in August of 1781 when General Washington discovered that Lieutenant Cornwallis's army was encamped near Yorktown, Virginia. It was then decided by Washington and his ally that they would attempt to crush Cornwallis's isolated force.
On August 21st, the Franco-American Army marched south, and with the aid of the French Navy, their fleet led by Rear Admiral Comte de Grasse was able to prevent Cornwallis from being resupplied. On September 5th, de Grasse and his fleet succeeded in defeating the British and leading them away from the bay in what was known as the Battle of Chesapeake. From there, General Washington and de Grasse joined forces with Marquis de Lafayette, who was shadowing Cornwallis' movements, and created an army. They deployed forces with Americans on right and French on the left. Cornwallis' army was outnumbered more than 2-1 and eventually ran out of options. October 17, at 9 a.m., the British waved a white flag.
The fight at Yorktown cost Allies 72 lives and 180 wounded. The British lost more people compared to the French and American armies. Cornwallis met at the Moore House with the attempt to obtain similar terms of surrender that Major John General Burgoyne received at Saratoga. Washington, however, refused the proposal. Cornwallis had no choice but to accept the last surrender. Documents were signed the 19th of October. The French-American armies awaited for the British surrender.
The British marched down with flags and bands playing "The World Turned Upside Down." Cornwallis claimed an illness and sent General Charles O'Hara. Washington directed O'Hara to surrender to his second-in-command, Lincoln. After the surrender was complete, the British Army was taken into custody instead of parole. The Yorktown victory was the last major engagement of the American Revolution. It ended the conflict in America's favor.